Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mara Patemi. Getting right into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers knocking off the Miami Heat in the first round, officially completing their sweep of the first round. We honestly expected it from a viewership standpoint with how dominant the Cleveland Cavaliers have been in the Eastern Conference, with how inconsistent this Miami Heat team has been since Jimmy Butler was traded. Game 1 and Game 2, we absolutely saw a lot of competitive basketball. Tyler Herro doing his best to keep his team in it. But the depth of this Cleveland Cavaliers team, two things. The depth of the Cleveland Cavaliers was too much for this Heat team to handle in general. When you can go 5, 6, 7 man deep that can all shoot almost 35% from 3-point range outside of Jared Allen. But even if you count out Jared Allen and go from the starting 5, 6 out of the 7 guys can shoot probably over 35, if not probably closer to 38%. 38% and better from 3-point range. So when you have that going up against a Miami Heat squad with Tyler Herro obviously is great, Bam Adebayo, but after that you have Davion Mitchell, the rookie, I believe his name is Don Ware. I always forget his first name. I apologize. You just have a young group of guys in Miami. Dante Highsmith. You just have a young group of guys that are just continuing to grow and continuing to figure out what's next for them, how they can continue to grow as a team. And they're just continuing to find their identity, it feels like. They're growing into the Heat culture as a scrappy, gritty, team basketball kind of team. But they're missing their certified shot maker. On top of that, Bam Adebayo is really neutralized in this series. When you have Bam Adebayo going up against two guys in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, fending them both off by himself, what are you expecting him to do? He's gonna get out rebounded. He's gonna get dominated in the post. He's gonna be looked to be exploited, and that is one thing that the Cleveland Cavaliers did with Kenny Atkinson. They looked to exploit as much as possible Bam Adebayo, as much as possible Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro guarding Donovan Mitchell was the biggest mismatch I've probably seen all playoff long. How do you even, that is just the matchup that ended up, that's the matchup that the Heat had to work with. But that is what we like to call barbecue chicken in the NBA world. You look at it and it's just easy. It was too easy. It was too easy for Donovan Mitchell. It was too easy for the Cleveland Cavaliers team as a whole. And they finished off the NBA sweep. They finished off the sweep on the number 7 seed or number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat being the first 10 seed to make it out of the play-in tournament. So major props to them. They tried to fight back as much as they could in the first 2 games down in Cleveland. But it just felt like when it got down to Miami, especially after they lost that game 3 in demoralizing fashion, it just looked like it just sucked the life out of them. And when you lose 138-83, when you go down 43-17 in the first quarter, when you go down 72-39 at halftime, you're a demoralized squad. And I think anybody in this chat would agree with me when I say that. Another aspect of this that is starting to get some traction, a little bit, some rumors. I've seen a couple of them every now and again. Nothing reported, I don't think, unless it's been reported this morning after the series. I haven't seen. I tried to look for it. I didn't see anything about it. These are just rumors. So do not crucify me if I'm completely wrong. But with the loss of Jimmy Butler in Miami, with what really looks like a culture change now in Miami, there have been some whispers of possibly Pat Riley stepping down as the executive of the Miami Heat. Could that also include Eric Spoelstra leaving the team. I know Eric Spoelstra, obviously Pat Riley bringing in Spoelstra back in early 2010s. I believe it might have been 2010. It might have been 2012. I believe he was an assistant coach in 2012 when LeBron won his first title, and then in 2013 he was the head coach, and Pat Riley went up to the executive room, into the front office. I believe that's right. But what happens if Pat Riley steps down? Does he retire from the NBA? He is getting a little bit older now, but Pat Riley is still one of the premier executives in the NBA. He's the guy that built the culture there. He was the original head coach there when Dwayne Wade won their title. That also might have been what I was thinking of when Eric Spoelstra was an assistant coach. I apologize. I got to fact check that. But he won the NBA championship when he was young as a coach. He won back-to-back, at least one, if not back-to-back titles as an executive, bringing LeBron James, being the cultivate. Maybe he wasn't the originator of the plan, but he was the executive when LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh decided to all come down, or when LeBron James and Chris Bosh decided to pair up with Dwayne Wade down in Miami to build that ultimate big three, the original big three of the NBA. Overall, he's going to go down into NBA. He's going to go down into the Hall of Fame, not only as a coach, but also as an executive. 100%. If, what's his name? If Jerry West can go down into the Hall of Fame as an Hall of Fame executive, Pat Riley absolutely deserves it 1,000% to be in that conversation. So major props to him. If he decides to step down, maybe he might go to I don't know exactly where he's going to go. Maybe he goes to a team like New York, to the Knicks. Even though they do still have Scott Perry there, I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I'm just trying to think of another team off the top of my head. There's no way he goes to the Lakers. There's no way that they fire Rob Pelinka as their executive there. So overall, I think he most likely retires from the NBA. Eric Spoelstra, he most likely leaves as well. I'd say if that ends up transpiring the way I'm saying it right now, that is probably the way it ends up happening. But that's my take on the Miami Heat. From a player standpoint, they have a good duo in Herro and Bam Adebayo. Davion Mitchell's coming on as a premier wing defender, not like an Amen Thompson, but similar to like a Marcus Smart kind of guy. And then you also have the young rookie. Can I please figure out this kid's first name, please? Kevin Ware, or Khalil Ware. I apologize, guys. Khalil Ware. He's a 7-foot center who's continuing to grow into this league. He had a great first half. He had a great rookie season in what was honestly a kind of a shallow rookie draft class. But Khalil Ware was pretty good this rookie season, finishing off as a good rebounder. If he continued to grow as a scorer, growing into the paint, build up his strength, his physicality in the paint, so he can go up against the maybe not the Jokic's, but the Clint Capellas of the world, the Franz Wagners of the world, the Jonas Valanciunas, the Alperen Senguns. If he can grow into that Alperen Sengun type conversation with Bam Adebayo, it could be similar to what the Cleveland Cavaliers have right now. If Tyler Herro can continue to grow as a scorer, if they can add another scorer to this team, I think it would absolutely exponentially grow their opportunities as a team. So that's just my take. I think the Miami Heat have a good base, but without Jimmy Butler, without that number one legitimate scorer, I don't think Tyler Herro is there yet. Is at that level to be that primary scorer for this team. He needs a running mate. He needs another guy with him. Whether it's John Morant, whether it's Damian Lillard, get another guard over there to help out Tyler Herro from a floor general scoring standpoint. And I think it would exponentially help the Miami Heat because they have the guys to grow with. They just need another guy to pair with their core to build another possibly contending franchise. That's just my take on it overall. But yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers moving on to the second round to face the winner of the Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks series. And we'll get a little into that a little bit later into the show because it is a little bit of a quiet matchup, but I won't talk about the second round yet. I have a take on it that I've been saving as well. I've honestly been teasing it throughout the NBA playoffs, since the NBA playoffs started, because when I made my bracket, I saw this matchup possibly I saw these two teams on a collision course, and I was very excited to see it. We'll talk about that later, probably next week or so, or later in the show. I'll touch on it a little bit. But I'm going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at possibly the biggest playoff game of these NBA playoffs in general. Game 5 between the Denver Nuggets and Los Angeles Clippers. 3 out of the 4 games have been decided by, I believe, 4 points. 1 game went to overtime. One of them was a buzzer beater, and then the other was just it came down to the wire of the game, but ultimately free throws in game 2 being the winner for the Los Angeles Clippers. But game 5 of a 2-2 series. It's a best of 3 now between these two teams. Obviously the Los Angeles Clippers being one of the hottest teams in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets still being NBA champions 2 years ago, firing their head coach a week before the playoffs. Still hold the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic. Still have Jamal Murray. Still have Michael Porter Jr. Still have a great group of guys around him. So, yeah, I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to preview that game because it is going to be must-watch TV.